Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. This is the Real Riff podcast. My name is Bill Markey,
My name's Tommy Angelo.
and we've got a pretty packed episode here. We're going to do a quick reaction to the 2026 Oscars, and then we're going to get into Project Hail Mary,
Yeah.
as well as a few topics surrounding that film. So, you and I haven't spoken too much since the Oscars aired, which at this
hmm
point of recording was a few weeks ago.
hmm
So overall, and I'll do a quick run through of our score sheet.
It's almost a month ago
Um,
now.
that's true. What were your overall feelings with the broadcast, Conan, with the awards?
I didn't see the opening segment. I mean, I later saw it, but I thought that was really cute, like the weapons one. I actually thought that was like one of the better Oscar opening bits in quite a
Yeah.
while. I think I think Conan's I think Conan's good. I think he does enough. I thought the Babs in Memoriam section where she like sang and had that whole speech was like beautiful. But I found like I get that this year we lost a lot of like huge names and big figures, like obviously to the likes of like Catherine O'Hara and such, but I don't know. That felt like it felt like it went on really long and it was really sad. And I respect that to a level, but I also am like, all right, this is kind of like putting me down, you know. But
Yeah.
regardless of that, I do think it was pretty good. I think I'm just kind of losing. I don't know. I'm just not as excited by watching the Oscars anymore. I'm just all right. Like I hear the award, it goes by. Like I don't know. I know you had a huge like stake in this race of Amy, but like none of the awards in terms of competition excited me that much just because of the whole like sinners in one battle thing. We kind of knew where it was going. I feel like this was one of those years where I feel like when we were talking about it, we were like so like, oh, we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know what's gonna happen. But I feel like everyone kind of figured that it was gonna be a one battle and sinner show.
Really, you
And
felt? I mean, I thought that was pretty predictable though. What do you mean? Like people didn't know who was going to win between the two,
not
or
even that. I just felt like when we were talking about it, I feel like we were talking about the other films like so much more as if like they even had like a chance, and like some of them just did
oh,
not. Some of them just did not. But
like Marty?
like
Like you're
Marty,
saying, like Marty? Yeah.
I think if anything, Marty should have got casting. Like that is brutal to me. But
Yeah, it went 0 for 9.
yeah, that is sad. But
Yeah.
I don't know. My least favorite part of the Oscars were definitely the bits. Like the bridesmaids bit went on way too long. But
You know what I really liked was what's his name from Paradise? Our guy with Conan doing the whole like making fun of Netflix for being over
hmm
expository.
hmm
Sterling
Sterling K.
K. Brown.
Brown, yeah.
I actually really liked that.
Oh,
That I
is
actually
it
really
Paradise
liked.
coming back soon?
Paradise is back. It's almost done.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm wrong.
I haven't watched any of no, I haven't watched any of season 2
I'm
yet.
surprised you were
I've
so high on
I've
that
heard it's
show.
pretty good. I know I need to watch. I've heard it's like not great, but it's okay.
Yeah, and I'd say like so that was my least favorite part of the Oscars was definitely the bits, and my favorite part of the Oscars was definitely I actually thought some of the speeches were pretty good this year. I liked some of the speeches. I liked
Yeah.
who's you know what pissed me off though? I forget what award it was for. One of them was so excited to talk, and as soon as they got to the mic and started talking, they played them off. And I forget. Do you remember what award that was for?
I feel like that was one of the foreign movies or something, or
Was it
I feel like
K-pop?
there was
Was it
like
K-pop Demon Hunters?
I feel like there was like three people up there. One of them took way too long, and then when the guy got up with the
I
glasses,
felt so bad because that dude looked so fucking excited to talk. He looked like he had some shit to say, and then he just got played off. That's
there
what.
was one guy who
Mhm.
took. He was like the selfish guy this year. Last year it was Brody. There was one guy who started getting into a bunch of like politics a little bit, and he just kept going. And I'm like, fuck this guy. And it had nothing to do with what he was saying. I was like, this is rude. Like they were playing the music and he kept talking, so they stopped the music. I'm like, this is not fair to anybody else because this delays the broadcast. They may have to cut other people's speeches short because this guy refused to stop talking. And I think I don't know what it was about exactly, It might have been quasi political, but the fact that they stopped the music for him. No offense, maybe he's a big deal in his world, but I didn't know who the fuck he was. It wasn't like it was like Chris Nolan was up there. And I don't know. That shit bothers me. It's like you know how these awards work. Keep it tight, keep it short, say your piece, and just get the hell out. Like,
I'm of the opinion that they need to change that because I think it's rude. Like, and I get that it should be quick, and I believe that it should be quick because we really don't care to hear these people talk about important topics. They should just thank people and accept the moment of
yeah.
glory. But I also do think that like sometimes like it's just rude. Like just let the people who won say what they want to say. Instead of, I think the easiest fix for this is instead of playing music, have it on the teleprompter. I'm sure it says stuff, but like just have it like the saying "get off, get off, get off" or like something like that.
Yeah.
Instead of the music is one just awkward and just uncomfortable for everybody. I feel even the audience at home. It's just an uncomfortable moment.
I mean, I feel like if they're playing music over them, are they going to listen to a teleprompter that says you need to wrap it up? Like, look.
No,
I
and
think this
I
is part
hear
of the
that.
reason. I think this is why part of the reason why this was one of the lowest watched Oscars of all time, like, or at least in recent time. And a lot of people's issues is the shows run so long, and that's part of the problem. Is I do think you should take your victory lap, but there's a way to just like Michael B. Jordan at the BAFTAs or even at the Oscars. Um, he had a nice, tight speech. It was heartfelt. Thanked Mama. And then he talked about going In and Out Burger. I think he did. That's what he said, In and Out Burger. It was like short. It was funny. It was charismatic. Charismatic. I'm like, this is why he's one of Hollywood's guys.
Yeah,
Is
he's
because
awesome.
he's likable. You don't know much about him, and he's a movie star.
Hmm.
Like, and some of these other people get up there and they're just going on and on. It's like, just shut the fuck up. Or like when Amy Madigan won the Globe. No, not the Globe. The BAFTA. No, I forgot what she won. The whatever,
The
the
actor award,
actors.
right? Yeah.
And she had a nice little speech. Thanks, certain people made a joke about the award having no penis, and like that was it. Like, I don't know. I'm like, that's you know, do that. Like, I don't
I
even care if
listen.
you're.
Hey, I agree.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just hate the uncomfortableness of the music. But I do actually, I really do agree with you. I don't know how else they would really do it, but
Yeah. Speaking of Amy Madigan,
yeah.
I'm gonna, her and the podcast, as I mention her here and there, will know her as Kim. But Kim did gift me, and I want to show everybody this awesome Aunt Gladys. Um, so this is probably going to be tattooed on my horror arm at some point. It's going to be a while because somebody's got to get their finances better. But I wanted to show this off and use this as a segue to also say that for me, I thought this was a predictable, but not in a bad way, awards. Like, no awards for me was like, why the fuck did they give this person or that
Yeah.
movie this
And also,
award?
I couldn't be mad about who won for most of them,
That's what I mean. And
other than one movie,
furthermore,
other than like one movie. But
save it because we're going to go over that in a second. And furthermore, I've never been more excited for an award, except for Christoph Waltz winning for Django, since then than I have been for that. And it's funny when I did an Instagram live for us where I was like being like, let's talk the Oscars before, and I had to do it on my personal one because it's like the whole thing with followers on Instagram, whatever.
oh yeah,
So I had to do it on mine. I just tagged us. And I went to go on Hulu and it wasn't there. And I was like, where's the Oscars? And people are texting me, you must be loving this. What a great bit. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I bet you they're doing something with weapons. And then I didn't realize you had to have Hulu Live. I drove to my parents doing about 75 miles an hour down to 35, got in their house, sat down, and Zoe Saldana was just coming out to give out the actress. That's why in my reaction
that's
video,
crazy.
I'm in my parents' living room.
Yeah,
Then
that's crazy that you just got in though.
Yep.
I
Then
didn't know that.
I subscribed to YouTube TV for a day, drove back and watched the rest here.
You didn't even
Um,
stay with the night, the parents.
no, then I redid it. I saw the opening bit. I loved the bit. I thought I'm a huge Conan fan. I saw him twice in person when he used to be the the late night with Conan in the city. I've always loved him. I think he was just safe. Like I wasn't.
He's a very safe host. He's
Yeah.
not going to take too many big like hits at
No.
people. Honestly, the biggest hit that he took at someone was probably Timothy. And I even saw that someone like reported that Timothy and who's he dating? Kylie Jenner, right?
One of the gen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of them. That they like left and then came back for the when they announced his award. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or
Really?
not, but I saw a couple reports of that.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
That would be funny
Um,
as fuck though.
but yeah, I was thrilled that Amy won. So, um, do you want me to go through everything or just like the main awards as we quickly review the scorecard here?
Oh,
Like, just give a quick little.
yeah. I think we could hit the main ones, like really talk about the main ones. But I mean, you could kind of speed
Okay.
through the rest of them.
So here, I'll just do a quick one. So, music for an original song. We both wanted Sinners. We said it was K-pop. K-pop won. Music
Yeah.
original score. We both wanted One Battle. We thought it would win. It was Sinners. Good. Congrats, Ludwig. For makeup and hairstyling, I said Frankenstein. I wanted it to win. I thought it would win. You wanted Smashing Machine, but we were both correct. It was Frankenstein. I'm not going to go over the ones. Um, we were both wrong about international feature film. You said it will be Secret Agent. I said Surratt. It was Sentimental Value. We both thought Marty was going to win
Actually,
film editing,
when it came to independent, that actually surprised me.
the feature film.
With sentimental value, I
Yeah.
really I thought it was. I actually thought sentimental value was like the least likely to win that.
Film editing, we both said it would be Marty. It ended up being One Battle. Again, if you have anything to say, just stop me. For costume design, we both said it would be Frankenstein, and it was Frankenstein. For cinematography, we both said it would be One Battle, and it was Sinners.
Yeah, no, okay, we got
Um,
to talk about that one.
Go ahead.
Sinners looks really good, and it matches the aesthetic of its film so well. I mean, it looks awesome. But I think One Battle uses cinematography to elevate a story that may not have been like an epic into like an actual epic. You know what I mean? Because think about
Yeah,
how many like ways there are to shoot some of the scenes in that film, and you can make it a lot more sterile. You know what I mean? A
yeah,
lot more by the books crime drama rather than like a like this like epic the whole movie feels like a chase scene, you know. And I guess you could credit that to editing and stuff too, but I think it's like I don't think Sinners has the same amount of sauce that One Battle does. Like the whole like the door closing shot with what's her name,
Oh, I love
Charlene.
that.
That's
Chasing Tiffany.
awesome.
Yeah.
The shot, I mean, the one that sticks with me a lot is the shot of Sean Penn walking out of the fire as like a Spanish song plays.
Oh, when he's doing his like the walk with the gun in his
The
hand.
little Vince
Yeah.
McMahon waddle, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
just
keep
keep
doing
blasting.
the play by play. You can add the color. Directing. I'm just gonna go to one big one here. We both said it would be PTA, and it was.
Deserved.
For production design, we were both correct on Frankenstein. For sound, we were both correct on F1. For visual effects, I don't know what I was thinking. You were correct with Avatar over me for F1.
Yo,
For
what the fuck were
adapted,
you thinking there,
I
dude?
don't know. I think I just won. For yeah, there was a couple of these as I was like reviewing them. I'm like, oh shit, what am I doing with some of these? Adapted screenplay, we both did One Battle, and it was. We both got this one wrong. For original screenplay, I said Marty. You said it was just an accident, and it ended up being Sinners.
I don't know. I don't
Uh,
know how I feel about that one. I
like
I
Sinners
think
should not
I
have.
think Sinners has so many great original ideas.
Yeah,
I just don't know if they all fully come together for me in the screenplay. And I know we kind of talked about this. I know part of me really likes the prologue that the film has, where you spend a lot of time with the characters. But just upon the couple of rewatches I've had the film, it just didn't hit as hard. Like I actually
gotcha.
don't think there's much. They don't add much juice to most of the characters other than the two twins, and I guess you could argue that like that is the point. But I kind of feel like a lot of those characters are just there to die. You know,
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I kind of take that back a little bit. I don't know. I don't know. I really appreciate the swings that the film takes and everything. And maybe I'm just like, I don't know. It's one of those films I just haven't fully wrapped my mind around. I think it's amazing and it's awesome. Again, when you're talking about like all these films, really, except F1, it's kind of like comparing like, you really, you're comparing the best of the best here. So it's kind of hard to really come to some sort of conclusion upon which is better and who deserves an award. And really, they all deserve an award. But I just think that like scripts like One Battle and Marty, I think all of their ideas are a bit more cohesive feeling to me
Yeah.
than what Sinners manages to wrap up by the end.
Okay. I waved you off because of your little dig at F1. Um, Animated movie. We both predicted K-pop and got K-pop.
Yeah, dude, I gotta watch
Casting.
this K-pop Demon Hunters
I
movie.
know. I know. I agree. For casting, I said One Battle. You said Marty, and it was One Battle.
What made you
For
choose One
supporting,
Battle there?
it was. I mean, I don't really have honestly anything crazy to say. I thought like that cast. Nothing against Marty. I loved the unique casting
Okay, actually, let me ask.
the
Let me ask
niche.
this. When it
Okay.
comes, I think this will contextualize the question a bit better.
Okay.
Do you feel that this casting Oscar going forward should it be given to the best cast or should it be given to the casting director that uses the most unique and original methods to cast a film that is well cast?
That's not the same thing to you necessarily. Like that doesn't all come together.
Well, no, because I think
Like, isn't the best cast going?
I think when general audiences hear like, oh, casting, I feel like their head's gonna go to the cast, you know. So I feel like when some
Yeah.
people saw Sinners one, like from a general audience perspective, I feel like they're saying like, oh, Sinners has the best cast, you know. Well, I feel like it should be, and I feel like the award should more so be for like the process of casting, you know, how original were the methods of casting, how well was the execution of the casting, you know what I mean?
So in my mind, I feel like that award. This is just me. Is I feel like they take both of those things like into account. It's like I look at okay, so like Marty has the power of this super niche cast picking people off the streets, these oddball people who you've never seen them,
Yeah, like
and
that
they
fits
steal the
one end of
show.
that spectrum.
Right. Now, when I look at One Battle, granted, you're getting a juggernaut like Sean Penn, but you didn't just have Sean Penn doing, like something we've seen before. Now we're seeing Sean Penn do something that is staying in our brains for
Yeah,
God knows how long to come. Or we're walking out of One Battle and we're like, Sean Penn was great, but who was that young chick who played Leo's daughter? I
yeah,
can't wait to watch her. I feel like even though One Battle has a lot of heavyweights, it's just as unique in a way as Marty because I'm not just looking at them as wow, it's Sean Penn, Benicio, it's Leo. It's what they also did. Like watching Leo do way more of a comedic, bumbling idiot. Watch Sean Penn play this jacked up military dictator. And then watching like just like some of the bit players in that, like PTA got a legit guy from the military who played the interrogation officer who kidnapped the podcaster. I found out that guy is legitimately like from the army,
yeah. I
and
mean,
that guy,
I feel like you could
that
tell
guy,
he's
yeah,
scary.
that guy has one scene and he's terrifying. So I mean, I think in a way, like that movie was not as niche as Marty, but they also had those super like everybody in the Fringe 75. Even though I noticed some of them were so like I believed that they all fit the mold of with the French 75.
Like
Like
Jungle Pussy and stuff.
yeah, like I believe even the guy on the phone with Leo who wouldn't give him the time,
The oh
like
yeah,
when they finally showed that guy, I was like, yeah, that's the guy that I thought would be behind the phone.
yeah.
So like I feel like in its own way, it's just as unique as Marty, maybe not as like niche, but I do think One Battle's not just about oh look at all these juggernauts. It's what's One Battle. The cast stuck with me more. Sean Penn in that role, Benicio, and his uniqueness of like just still bringing Benicio to the role, but also being wacky, and everybody was so like off the wall bizarre in that movie in a way. Like just
I
like
don't know that
seeing Leo
I
do what he did.
I don't disagree
Yeah.
essentially with what you're saying. I guess I was just curious what you thought about that because you know the
Right.
casting director is the one who's given the award, you know, so it is like
Right.
I think there has to be some judgment of like the process of the casting. You know,
Yeah.
I think it is very interesting to look into how a film was cast. You know, because
Yeah. I agree.
when I think of who won this award, Sinners, right? Oh no,
Casting was one
one
battle.
battle, right? I don't know why I thought it was Sinners, but it's like I feel I don't know. Actually, you kind of convinced me a little bit. I do think it is a very interesting cast, especially when thinking of a lot of like the background characters. Like you mentioning the army gag. That's a great example. So
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you.
Even yeah, I mean, just even the kid that grabs the side when Benicio is driving, and then he goes, "It's like World War III
Three
out
out of
here,
here.
man." Like just these little bit players that pop up in one scene or one moment, like they all just fit so well. And like the Christmas Adventures Club, those guys, I was like, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
No fantasy casting has me replacing those guys.
that is probably
Like,
like one of my favorite scenes like ever.
yeah,
Hail Saint
like
Nick.
what a great yeah. Best supporting actress, you said Tayana, I said Amy, and it was Amy. Supporting
No,
actor,
talk about that because that was like huge for you, and
yeah,
I
I
didn't
mean,
believe in that.
I did. I mean, Aunt Gladys, who, by the way, sprinkling in some movie news, the Gladys movie is moving forward officially, and it is titled. It has a title, Gladys. Shocking. Um, and I love the fact that Kreger is producing and writing. I forget who's doing the directing, but it's somebody I think Kreger. I don't know. I forgot his
Yeah,
name. Um,
that doesn't make me feel as good.
the reason why I'm excited for this movie is because Kreger is tied to it.
Yeah, but
If
why
they
isn't he
said we're
directing it? You think it's a
well,
scheduling thing?
dude, he's got a lot of shit coming out.
I know.
So I'm thinking maybe. I mean, look, Lucas didn't what he directed one Star Wars movie, so I mean, he got what Kasdan, and like a few others to do it. So I mean, for him writing it and producing it, I think means more just as much to me
Okay.
that he's putting more of the brain power behind like writing out that whole movie as opposed to directing it. I mean, that's just me. Um,
So
but I just
yeah,
I just think sorry, I'll shut up. I just think like that role just stuck with me. I liked that it wasn't I like that she was in like five different costumes. I like that she went from playing it was a physical role too. She went from playing this shriveled up old lady to like running at the end of the film with her arms flailing. Like the character was just super memorable to me. I mean, it made a big impact on like social media and whatnot. You had people dressing up as Gladys. You had TikTokers doing influence. It's like it's fun. It's fun to see that role and the way it just had this like umbrella of I don't know if that's the right word, but this big reaching effect. And I remember like people who saw Weapons would come back to me, like friends, clients, they were like, "What a great movie!" And they would make a note of like she was so scary, like it was cool to see that that was another character who made an impression and it wasn't just like here's the award for this character. I feel like this is a character we're going to talk about for a ways to come. And lastly, strictly a rumor, Sarah Paulson is playing a young Gladys.
hmm.
Strictly a rumor,
Makes sense.
but it would make sense. And Sarah Paulson and Amy Madigan
Not
are
the first time
friends.
that Sarah Paulson has played the younger version of an iconic villain.
Oh, Nurse Ratchet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and her and Amy Madigan are very close. So, sorry, go ahead.
And like Paulson almost kind of looks like a younger version of her. That is kind of a good casting.
Yeah, and you'll probably get Amy what like towards the end of the movie. I assume like she's not gonna be in a good chunk of it.
Yeah.
So, but no, I love it, and I also just do love the story, like, of Amy Madigan, like being
That's where
so out of the
that's where
picture.
I'm most happy here for this award because I actually while I love her performance, I have nothing bad to say about her performance whatsoever. I just think the it just didn't scream like Oscar to me, and it didn't and I think that's because I felt like in the movie that character type, the witch like that type of character, I feel like it works because it was kind of building up to like that twist, you know. So it's okay that I feel like with that character, Kreger doesn't really do much new with, you know, the evil witch, you know, making sacrifices to gain youth. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I think the performance is amazing. Amy Madigan's physicality is insane, but I'm still happy because of what you said, like her story. Like I can't be upset at her winning this award at all.
20s, but since, you know, she's 75 years old.
No, and also
Age.
she's just like the nicest human being, sweetheart. So
Yeah, exactly. By the way, Kreger is writing this movie with Zach Shields,
okay.
who I believe it looks like he worked on Weapons as well. Is that correct?
In what capacity?
Hmm. Why is it hard to? Since when is Paul Walter Hauser in Resident Evil?
Is
I
it?
didn't know that. Austin Abrams, Paul Walter Hauser, and Zach Cherry.
Oh, I may have seen that. I did not know Zach Cherry was in it. That is really funny.
Side note,
His casts are interesting.
Side note, as I did tell you, one early response to Zach Kreger's Resident Evil movie, as we're just sprinkling in some news here, is that it was 90 minutes, and it is the Mad Max of horror films. So Zach Kreger's Resident Evil, I am so excited about, which I'm sure you are, because I know you're a big fan of the games. Zach Shields,
they're honestly my favorite video games of all time.
I'm sorry, Zach Shields did Krampus and Godzilla versus Kong. He's teaming up with Kreger.
Okay,
So
we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. So anyway, let's getting back to it. So lead actress, we both said it would be Jessie Buckley, and it was. This was an interesting one between the two of us. Leading actor, we were all over the place.
This was by far the most interesting category of the night in terms of like who the fuck is gonna win. Because the thing with this one is any of them could have won, and I will be absolutely happy, you know, and I won't cause a fuss because each of them deserve it. Each of them, their performances deserve it. I will say, just coming from the heart, how I was feeling in that moment, I do think out of all of those, Jordan's is the performance that I like the least. But that's saying, like, what is that really saying in a year of this like stacked performances? You know what I mean? Like, it is my least favorite performance out of those. But the fact that he won, he's a stand-up dude. He deserved an Oscar eventually. He's a class 1 actor. You know what I mean? But obviously, I really wanted Timmy to win this. But you know,
well,
Timmy's going to have his time, and the fact that he just keeps getting nominated every year is just still a good look.
I know. We both wanted Timmy. However, you said it will be Leo. I said it would be Michael B. Jordan.
Hey, so you were right on that. Where was your headspace there? Because I feel like he was not a favorite.
There was just honestly, I think it was more.
He actually wasn't a favorite until like very close to the award show.
I think it was more of like a political thing for me. Politics meaning not like he played politics. Trying to say, I think the press and the people were just leaning towards him, and I think that's what just honestly made me do it. Timmy had fallen out of good graces. Leo was barely running a campaign, so I kind of looked at Michael B. Jordan. Not that he was better than them, but I felt like campaign and media wise, he was gaining. And after he won that BAFTA and he had this great speech and he talked about his mom, I just felt like.
And there was that whole controversy with the guy with Tourette's like saying the racial slur.
Yeah, when Delroy Lindo and him, he screamed out the N bomb.
Yeah, so there was a narrative here, 100%.
Yeah, again, so I only picked Michael B. Jordan because I feel like there was just a sway in the conscious, not because I thought.
Yeah.
I think Timmy and Leo were better than him, but I purely based that one off of just where it seemed the
tide was going. Yeah, totally, yeah. I get that.
And then the final one, again, this one was interesting. We both wanted Mari Supreme, and this is where we flipped as opposed to the last one. I said it would be Sinners. You said it would be One Battle, and it ended up being One Battle. So,
I wanna
um,
ask you though.
yeah, go right ahead.
Do you feel what do you feel is the movie of 2025? Because and just because One Battle won Best Picture doesn't mean it has to be One Battle. And I would say it's between One Battle and Sinners. What do you think is the film that is going to define the year of 2025?
Okay, so personally, my favorite movie of the year was Weapons.
Yeah.
That's just my
So
personal
that's what's
choice.
going to define the year for you. But what do you feel for
Yeah,
pop culture and moving the industry forward? What was the film?
yeah. Well, no, yeah, that I get. I'm just saying for me, my
Yeah,
favorite was
totally,
Weapons. I just wanted to
totally.
support my fucking movie. Um, so as I'm thinking about this answer, my answer is like almost changing in my head.
Yeah.
The reason why I was going to say, see, this is where it's tough because all right, I'll like try to keep it quick. And by the way, we should cut this when we're done, and this should just be its own episode. I think this should just I think this should just be an episode.
Okay.
And then we'll do project film
We're at
memories.
33 minutes right now. So.
I think after this we should just separate, you know.
Or I mean, we could just include it in one and do like an hour episode. I mean,
Okay. So One Battle, I was gonna say, was this movie of the year.
mhm.
I think from a political standpoint, it matched things no matter how you felt about it, that what we see on the news and in media. So I think there's something to be said about that. I think it can also be remembered as this is also not just a big movie for its political presence, but because it was the movie that crowned PTA. I do think it's a movie that for a lot of people will remember. Like there's a generation of people like even like your age or as kids who haven't seen Sean Penn in something in a long time or maybe ever,
Ever,
and
yeah.
for them, this is like some definitive character and role from a guy that they not even like. It almost reintroduced Sean Penn while it's reminding us how good as well Leo is, Benicio is, while introducing us to Chase Infinity and really showing us how good of a performer Tiana Taylor is. So at that standpoint, it makes me say One Battle. With that being said, I kind of feel like it's Sinners. And I kind of feel like it's Sinners because in a way I feel like the Sinners has a launching off point for more of a future that we'll talk about that will go back to Sinners, meaning we might in 15, 20 years, when we talk about Kugler, when we talk about Michael B. Jordan, um, when we talk about Jack O'Connell, Haley Steinfeld, Miles, what's his name? Miles Canton,
Cadden.
Cadden. Those are five names that I think we're going to always go back to Sinners. The way that people go back to Titanic for Leo, they go back to like what, Mystic River or whatever for Penn. They go back to like
Oh, and he won
Traffic or
for Mystic
whatever.
River too, right?
I think he did. Or
Yeah.
the way that they go back to like Traffic for Benicio and some other movies, whatever. I think people will be looking back at Sinners as like, oh man, but that was Kugler's first big, like real deal first big. That was Michael B. That was the coming out party for Jack O'Connell. That was again for Miles Cadden. So I feel like Sinners, the legacy of it, like it's almost like One Battle is like was like the end of a chapter in a way. It's like it had a lot of like older, not older, but like a previous class, and Sinners was like a new class.
Hmm.
And that new class is what's going to take us into the next 15, 20 years, amongst other actors, not just them. But I feel like we might be looking back at Sinners more as careers unfold.
I
So with
agree.
that
I mean,
being
I think we'll have
with
Chase
that being
Infinity.
said, Sinners.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah,
With
but
that being said, though, I think it's maybe Sinners then.
I actually agree with you, and that's why I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask the question just to see where you'd go with that because
Yeah.
I think a
Sorry,
lot of
I went on a long rant,
no,
but
and that's
yeah.
what I wanted. But I felt like a lot of people are gonna see like One Battle as the movie of the year now because of one Best Picture. But I actually think in terms of influence, it's gonna be Sinners.
Yeah.
I think this was this Paul's year, and it was a good enough film that they were like, okay, let's give him his due. But
And earned.
and it is totally earned. But like
Yeah.
They given him his due, and I feel like going forward, it will be. I think we're going to see a lot more influence coming out of Sinners.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. I think it's like watching a sports team in their early, like the 95 Yankees. And then you're like, something's brewing here. And by 1999 or 2000, they were a dynasty.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh yeah, Jeter, because Jeter was a rookie in like '96, and that's when they had Tino and Bernie. And by 2004 World Series. So
And you know
I
what?
feel like
Leo already won for The Revenant.
right,
Wagner's gonna get his, seeing how fucking good his performance in The Secret Agent is. He needs one American film that's just gonna fucking skyrocket him. You know?
Wagner.
Yeah. Like
I
just
just rewatched The Secret Agent actually.
like just give him, not even American film, any film, just give him a straight role. Give him an event film. I want to see
Yeah,
Wagner in an event film. You know, I want to see fucking more of Wagner. He honestly is like the unsung hero of this year because he's just so good in The Secret Agent, and I just want to see. Like, I feel like he has such a good face for cinema. Like, he's just so good.
yeah.
He's coming out of this year. Along with like Chase Infinity, and obviously, you know, I just want to keep seeing more Timmy and whatnot. But I'm really interested in seeing more Wagner. Like, that is the person
Yeah,
who,
me too.
out of those people who all got nominated for Best Actor, he's the one who I'm most interested in seeing where his career takes him next. You know what I mean?
No, I literally just got done rewatching Secret Agent the other day. So, and he's like the thing that I take away from the movie most.
Oh, I honestly think that's what it's supposed to be. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
he's very moving in that movie for me. But that being said, that was definitely the most interesting category, and you know, Timmy's gonna win an Oscar in the next 10 years. Leo already has his. You know, it is what it is.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. This feels like an again like a sports team that you're like, oh, this is going to be a good team years from now, and this like you're looking back at their season,
Yeah.
and for Sinners it was 2025. So yeah, I
I
think
yeah, no, I totally understand that.
yeah.
I feel that this award show was not very exciting and not very surprising, but there were still a few little cool moments that we got with, like, obviously like Amy and
I'll
stuff like that.
take this award show over an award show where a movie like Amelia Perez just gets shoehorned in for bullshit reasons. So I will take an award show that is maybe a little
I like to
bland,
take
but
an
at
award
least
show where F1's not shoehorned in, but
like
you know, I see your point.
they're making a sequel, and I'm gonna be there on night one.
If they call it
But we
F2,
actually, you know what? I know. Wait, can I actually say something real quick?
yeah.
Because the other day, so okay, there's a cultural movement, and you got to give it credit. I don't know if you've heard it firsthand, but I know I have. Like, there's a movement right now where everybody's getting into F1. Like, I've met a few people recently
How do we stop this movement?
that are just that are getting Apple to buy to see the Formula One races. Um, Kim, we'll just call her Kim. She works at Jay Franco, who produced like kids' pillows, blankets, embroidery, and shit. They're making a Mickey F1 bed for Target right now. Like, there is a movement where F1 is exploding, and I'll be damned if that movie doesn't have something to do with it.
I mean,
There's
it
it's
1000% does. And I mean, listen, there's
yeah.
nothing wrong with that. I think if it puts
So
more eyes in
it's
the sport,
having
that's a
it's
good thing. I
having
just
a
don't like the movie.
I get it. I love the movie. It's having a cultural. It is having a cultural effect. So, do we want to move into what we want to
Let's
get
talk
into
about
Project
Ryan
Hail Mary?
Gosling and let's talk about Project Hail Mary.
All right, let's talk about Project Hail Mary. So, directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, Drew Goddard. We have a powerhouse team here who wrote the screenplay. This is based on the book by Andy Weir. Amy Pascal's produced it, as well as Lord and Miller and Gosling, amongst a few others. Um, Small cast. We've got Ryan Gosling, Sandra Hüller, James Ortiz, and Lionel Boyce. Cinematography is one of your guys, Craig Fraser. Music by Daniel Pemberton, another big one. And Amazon MGM. That's very noticeable. Very notable. Distributed this. That's a huge move for Amazon. This just came out barely a month ago from the time that we are recording. It's a long one at 156 minutes. As of right now, its box office is closing in on 450 million. As of right now, it looks like, and its budget was almost. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, its budget was 248 million,
Nice. So it's
if I'm
making
reading this
profit.
correctly. Yeah. So credit, just to go right off the bat, credit to Amazon, the fact that
I mean,
they're like,
yeah,
you
this is
know,
making them up there as one of like the biggest distributors. So
and they weren't afraid to spend some fucking money. And it wasn't
and
a
it paid
movie
off. And
that
it
was
paid
a
off.
Marvel. Yep. And it wasn't a Marvel or a DC movie. Amazon was willing to spend some dough. So it's an interesting thing to see Amazon, Apple, and Netflix all just making some severe moves here.
Yeah.
So this movie, yeah, based on the book, Ryland Grace awakens from an induced coma on an interstellar spacecraft, and initially erratic with retrograde amnesia, he realizes he is the sole survivor of a three-person crew in a distant solar system light years from Earth. And then, of course, from there, the craziness ensues, where they're looking, these what the sun is being burnt out correctly
Yeah.
by the
And the
astrophage,
film just
and
kind of
there's only
follows him in space.
yep,
Yeah.
and there's one planet that's not being absorbed by it, and they're trying to figure out, how do we help Earth, because Earth is 30 years away from falling into a plummet in temperature and entering into like
Yeah.
a not an ice age, but things are
Same
gonna get
same
fucked up.
idea essentially as not in the exact same way, but same idea as Interstellar.
Right.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Project Hail Mary?
Just totally honest, not really my jam for a movie. But that being said, this is a damn like objectively good movie, and
Yeah.
not only that, this is probably one of the most this is the most perfect family movie to come out in years, I'd say. Like this is a
Yeah.
stellar family film. Every member of the family will fucking enjoy this movie. It is like a surefire bet that you can bring all the kids, the wife, anybody, any age to this film, and they can pull. Like I still pulled something, even though this film wasn't like fully my jam. There was a scene where a character sings, and it just made me cry. Like it was like very emotional, and I think those are the moments where you could see in like and not in a kids movie, in a family film, where anybody in that audience can take something away from it, and like that to me is what a family movie is.
Well, family movies. Lord and Miller have done Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, the Lego Movie, and the Spider Verse
That's what I was gonna
films.
say. Like they produce the Spider-Man films, the Into the Spider-Verse films, whatever, and I'm pretty sure they directed the Lego Movie and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, right?
Yeah, they co-created those films, and they also directed 21 and 22 Jump Street.
Yeah. So these guys know how to make a good movie,
Yeah,
and they know how to make a damn good family movie because if you've seen the Lego Movie, that movie's actually fucking hilarious. But
yeah, I know a lot of people love that.
no, these guys are like, I feel like they're not really known by name. They're just like secret operatives that just like make the best like family films in the industry. They
Yeah,
have the sauce down. They just have the sauce down.
you're right.
I think it's unique that they have 21 and 22 Jump Street in their filmography too. Like they just have what a unique filmography. But I think, and I know you said that Amazon was taking like a real bet on this movie because they're not really big heads in the distributing game. But that being said, I kind of feel like this movie was kind of a surefire bet from the beginning because not only is it based on a book that's like really, really, really popular. 2, you got Ryan Gosling as your star. 3, you have Lord and Miller directing. 4, you have Greg Fraser behind the camera. And you have Daniel Pemberton doing the score. I really feel like there's not much that can go wrong here.
Drew Goddard did the screenplay, and Drew Goddard, his resume was built for this movie. He he created Daredevil for Netflix, which is a great series.
Yeah.
He also has done all the Cloverfield movies. He's done The Matrix, and he's done The Martian,
How
and
did
he's done
everything always fucking tie back to the Cloverfield movies, bro?
World War Z, Alias, Lost. I know the Cloverfield movies because they're coming soon. Let's go, Cloverfield. So I'm just throwing these little tidbits as I'm looking at the breakdown. Like this really looked like it was the perfect combination for this movie.
Yeah, no, this
Uh,
was this was just a team that was gonna make a surefire, damn good family movie.
can you speak a little bit? We're both fans of him, but you can definitely talk about him more to the power of a guy who's shot a couple of my favorites, including Rogue One and the Batman, which is Craig Fraser.
Yeah,
Greg
yeah,
Fraser.
Greg Fraser. He understands scale, and he understands the scale of the frame and how that ties into emotion. He's just really good at framing shots. It's unreal. He's just got the sauce. There's literally nothing more to it than he has such an intense understanding of how emotion plays into it, because that's kind of what this film was built on, is just the emotion of it. And I mean, you could even see, and I know this is more so to do with like editing and stuff, but like when it flashes back to it's Rylan, right? That's the main character.
Ryland
Yeah,
Grace.
Rylan
Yep.
Grace. So when it flashes back to Rylan's past, the light from the scenes is like bleeding into the black bar of, like surrounding, like in the aspect ratio, and it was almost like it was like memory. It was like the memory was bleed, like it was, because obviously throughout the film Rylan's remembering more of what happened, and that's kind of the setup for the plot. Essentially, is you're watching him in space, and every time he kind of remembers something, he's flashing back to it,
Yeah.
or if something connects to something that was going on. But the way that this light is like bleeding in to the black bars, you know, it's it just really reminded me of like broken, fractured memory, and just like things like that are so intentional and such little details. It just goes to show that this team, they had everything down.
Yeah.
And even though it's not really my jam, once I really learned what the film is, because there is kind of like a little bit of a, I know it's not really a twist now, but obviously when people are reading the book for the first time, it is a huge like narrative shift from what you would think the movie's going to be.
Right.
The movie kind of shifts from Interstellar to something else for sure.
What I liked about are like we just gonna jump all over the place when talking about it?
Yeah, well, we can get into spoilers if you want, or if you just want to talk about your general thoughts on the film before.
Yeah, also just want to shout out, I thought the music in this movie was phenomenal.
Yeah, Daniel Pemberton killed it. He did,
And
he did the score for the Spider-Verse films too.
yep, he does Spider-Verse movies. He's done Eddington, Materialist, The Bad Guys too. He's been busy. And then
Eddington had
he
an
just did
underrated score.
he did the drama, and he also has another movie
Yes.
coming out in Masters of the Universe.
Is
So
that is
this
that
guy's
like
a
the
busy
He-Man
guy.
movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't look terrible. I don't like He-Man, but and that's an
Me
Amazon
either.
movie. Look at them.
No.
Um, but in the thing that I loved about Project Hail Mary was just how, I mean, this is generic to say, but it was just so, for a movie so big and with such big ideas and visually so big, the way that it also remains so human. Like there's so many movies where, again, they we talk about the is it Joseph Campbell, the hero's
The Hero's
journey?
Journey, yeah.
Yeah, like the call to action and how they in the first and early on they reject it. Like in so many movies, I feel like that character would have went up there. The fact that, like, again, human nature is that one scientist dies, who whatever, they can't go up into space, and they put him on the spot, and he's like, I don't want to go, and he's been given like what 30 minutes notice, and he's been told you're going, and he runs away. I love the fact that he's not a hero, but there's like this debate that people can have, and it's like, is he a coward, or is he, it's like, first of all, I think that's crazy. I don't think he's a coward. I think anybody would say no if they were told you have less than 20 minutes to think about it, you're going up to space, and oh, by the way, you can't really think about it, you're going. The fact that he runs, again, he's not a coward, that's also just very realistic. And then when he's up there, I love these little moments where when he ultimately tells Rocky that he's going to die up there, and Rocky decides to sacrifice himself for Rylan, and then Rylan goes, I didn't mean any of that, of course I want to go home. Like, I love that the movie just has these little moments where it's like, that to me makes it so realistic. It's like he never wanted to go, even after all his hard work, he didn't want to actually die up there. I feel like that was more something I can connect with.
Yeah.
Like as opposed to the guy who's like, I'm going, and then he's like, yes, I'm dying up here. Like I just loved how human, like Ryan Gosling like became in that film. Um, and what they did with Rocky, I thought the idea that in a world where we have like Grogu, we have Yoshi, all these cute little characters that are taking the world by storm, and we got this faceless puppet to connect with. So we had to connect with his body language, with what he was saying. It wasn't just about look at the big Puss in Boots eyes or and look at the cute little floppy ears. I love that like we were ultimately able to somehow feel and connect to a stack of rocks. And I think like the performance that I think James Ortiz, who does the voice, he puts into it, the performance that Gosling does acting with it, and the five people who puppeteered Rocky, they call them the Rocketeers when working on the movie. There was five people moving him.
That's
Like
awesome.
I just love the practicality to
Yeah,
that
that the
film.
fact that that's practical is amazing. And
Yeah,
you know
and
what?
the ships were set
It's
too.
one of
They
the
weren't the
cooler.
ships weren't even CGI.
It's
Sorry.
one of the cooler looking puppets too. Like it looks really cool. Like or even just for a
Yeah.
design of an alien, it's very unique. Like it's
Yeah.
very, and the way that he like talks and eats and everything and whatever's going on with his like ass, I have no idea.
Oh,
But
the comedy was amazing when he's
yeah,
making that vlog, and he's like, "I think he can hear me," and Rocky's in the back, and he's like, "Who are you talking to?" I was like, "This is becoming like the Odd Couple. Like
can
this
you
is
pull up the
fantastic."
name of the actor who voices Rocky because he also did the motion capture and I've been seeing him pop up a lot on
That's
TikTok. This guy is
James
awesome.
Ortiz, I believe. I'm
Is it
pretty sure
James?
that is James Ortiz. I'll
Okay,
double
yeah,
check that.
that dude is awesome. He is so good. And I was hearing just like how him and Ryan just like talked on set and we're just going back and forth and just like they were just recording them talking for hours because their chemistry was so good. And
Yeah,
the fact
he
that he was a motion
operated.
capture like person
Yeah,
who then got so connected to the character that they made him the computer voice is awesome.
yeah, yeah, he led the team operating the puppet. During the filming, he recited the dialogue for the character, believing the lines would be replaced by a more famous actor, but Lord and Miller just kept his performance in the film. So good for Lord and Miller for just sticking with him and not replacing him with.
No, because I think that real chemistry they had was a real bond.
Yeah,
I think the two of them probably made a real bond on that set, and that's what we're actually seeing in the movie.
I agree.
How do you feel about Rocky though?
I love the character. I just loved too, and I know I've met a few people that I work with in on my personal training job who read the book, and they were breaking down differences. I listened to a podcast breaking them down, and it was interesting to hear. Like, just I want to cover that real quick. Everybody who I know who's read the book, and it's been a few people now, said that this was about the best way that you can adapt the book. Like, nobody was like, "Oh man, the movie was good, but you got to read that book." Like, the few people I know who have read the book all said this is about as best as it can possibly get.
Okay,
So
that's awesome.
I think that's worth saying because so many times people will say, "Yeah, it was good, but man, just get the book instead." So the fact that like a few people like, signed off on this for what it's worth, I thought that said something.
Hmm.
Um, how I felt about Rocky again, like I loved being able to connect and find empathy and fall in love with this cute character who's not cute, who doesn't have the aesthetic of like a sweet, again, like I call it the Puss in Boots effect, like the big eyes or the baby Yoda and whatnot, as much as I love those characters. But the fact that we were feeling for something, we didn't see a mouth, we didn't see, like a face or anything. You know, credit to James Ortiz, we bought in more because of his performance. Like, because it's just a bunch of rocks moving. There's not a
Hmm.
lot to it.
Yeah, no,
But just like the scene of him dragging him along while he's burning out, like I was almost gonna start crying.
no, yeah, I think James is like the real MVP of this movie because I feel like his
Yeah.
actual real chemistry of Gosling not only improves Rocky as a character, but actually improves Gosling's performance too. Because if that chemistry wasn't there, I think Gosling's performance would actually come off a lot more flat.
I can see
Because
that.
when I was watching the film for the first like until they started hitting some like strong emotional beats of Gosling's acting, I really just thought I was looking at Ryan Gosling playing an astronaut, and it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a real character to me because it felt like he was playing into his Ken Ryan Gosling persona. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But there's a certain narrative shift in the film where I was like, it's actually one of his better performances.
When Rocky comes in, that's like I feel like I felt the movie took off right there.
Yeah. And it's funny,
when they
like that's
meet each other.
once I realized what the movie was, I was like, oh, this probably won't be as for me. But it still works. Like it still works as a family movie. I have to give it its respect. Like I can realize when something's not for me, but I can still really appreciate how fucking awesome it is, especially for the audience that it is catering to. You know what I mean?
And it's worth noting too that first of all, right now the movies itself are having a really good year. Like as some people say, we are so fucking back. That it's a strong year. We've had 4 big movies, original movies that made a lot of money between Hoppers, Goat, this, Scream 7, not original, but still worth noting. And with Project Hail Mary, I think there's something to be said to bleed into another discussion about the film, as well as blending another topic we started to talk about this before, I believe, how important event films are and for getting people to come back to the
And this is
movies.
really our first event film of the year.
Exactly. And this movie, more than half of its, unless the number changed, last I checked, more than half of its earnings have come from IMAX.
Yeah.
And I think that's something to be said for the power of IMAX, which makes me really interested to see how the Odyssey is going to do. But the fact that, because that's all IMAX, but the fact that I think this says, I feel like Project Hail Mary sums up when people say that the movies aren't what they used to be, or who goes to the movies, or why leave the house to go to the movies, because you can watch it at home at Netflix, or you can just wait 8 weeks and it'll be on VOD. I feel like Project Hail Mary's, like, we need as many of those, besides our A24s, we also need a lot of Project Hail Marys.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a Marvel or a big fucking gigantic, IP, but it's a movie with a big movie star at the helm with an original fun idea that draws people in, so it's not the routine IP.
Or it's adapting something that's fun and original.
Or adapting. And then premium, and then these special formats. Like people want
that is like the perfect setup. And also to keep these event films special, just have them every 3 months, Have them at the beginning of like every new season,
Right.
Like, because, I do agree that we should be getting more of them. Totally agree. You just don't want to get too much because I think that will decrease the value of an event film then,
True.
But I do agree with you that we need more.
Like every quarter.
Yeah, every quarter. That's perfect. If we had 4 event films every year, that's it. That's all you need.
And this makes me really interested to see that Dune 3 has now secured the IMAX screens for the opening weekend, which now is going to be interesting to see if Doomsday is going to move up
It
a
is.
week, because apparently
there's no way they risk an IMAX release.
Like Jumanji apparently just moved, which now opens up, I think, a week or 2 before Dune 3. There's an open week. So they're thinking Doomsday could jump ahead, because Dune, again, look how important IMAX is like becoming, which is awesome. Dune 3 has locked it down. Project Hail Mary lost the IMAX screenings to Super Mario, but Project Hail Mary will be back in IMAX within another week or 2. They're putting it back in for those theaters that don't have it. And then the Odyssey is the first movie ever that's going to be completely in IMAX. So it's going to be a really interesting year, and something I didn't think we'd be talking about for the format of IMAX.
Yeah, this is a really huge year for IMAX, and I'm glad you brought that up because I wasn't really thinking about that.
Yeah,
because this is the first I saw Project Hail Mary in IMAX, and it's the first film in a while that I've seen in IMAX. And God, that scene when like he turns on like the infrared light and everything like lights up, the whatever that's called, like, oh my God, it looked beautiful. And the score that's playing.
Yep.
But I want to talk about someone. Let's talk about Sandra Hüller.
Yeah.
What an interesting performance in this film.
So here's an interesting thing about her character before you get started. her character in the book apparently was a lot
Oh, a
more
hard
of a
ass, right? Yeah.
cutthroat asshole.
Yeah.
And Sandra Hüller humanized her a bit more. And she actually was told for that one scene that made you cry, she got to pick the song.
Yeah,
And she
holy shit.
picked,
Genius
yep,
song choice. I haven't thought about Harry Styles Signs of the Times in like a very long time.
neither have I.
Holy shit,
Yeah,
what a great song. Because I was listening to the lyrics. Like, it's literally about the movie. Like, it's insane.
yep. And she picked it and she nailed it. And I agree. I do think that is one of the strongest, if not the strongest part of the film.
Because it adds so much complexity to her character, especially the decision that her character makes at the end of the film.
Yeah.
You know, if that karaoke scene is not in the film, she looks like a much, much colder character.
Hmm.
But,
But
like,
she's also a bit relatable because she's also doing what she's got to do. Like she's not just a hard ass; she's doing what she's got to do
listen,
for the sake
what she does,
of
though, is,
our.
is really wrong. But
It
it
is.
is,
It is. It
yeah.
is. But again, like that's what I love about this movie is you can argue morals. Like if he doesn't
Yeah.
go up there in 30 years, which is nothing, the Earth is going to be in a really bad spot. So in a way, if I agree with her and to do what she did. Some people say that's fucked up, but I'm like, yeah, but if I was in that movie at my age right now, at 35, I'm like, wait a minute, at 65 years old with still more life to live, like, yeah, send him up. Like, I know that's easy for me to say, but I see where she's coming from even more than I do Ryland.
Okay, but well, what if you were Rylan?
Of course not. I see it from Ryland. That's why that's why I love the movie,
Yeah.
is because I can defend each of them.
It plays into all various aspects. You
Yeah.
know, I hear you. I was really impressed by Sandra in this film. I don't know what it was about her performance. The way that she brings this like weird, unorthodox, like strictness, but also like a little layer of like dry comedy. I just actually thought it was
Yeah.
a pretty unique performance. And the way that
I
her
agree.
like vocal inflection is with her accent, like I just thought she was an awesome character. And really beautiful singing voice. Like really that scene made me fucking like cry my eyes out of nowhere. I was like, oh my God. Like I wasn't ready for that, you know?
Does your gut say right now, would you give a yay or nay to her getting a supporting actress nomination next year?
Nay, just because there's not enough of her in this.
Okay.
I would have needed a little bit more,
Okay.
but for that scene alone, I would be happy if she did. I just don't see it happening. But then
We're also
again,
in
what the
oh,
fuck do
sorry.
I know nowadays?
Hey, Wunmi, what was her name? Wunmi
I don't want to butcher.
from Sinners. Yeah, she got nominated, and I don't think she was in that much more of the film than Sandra was. And I was,
That is very true.
yeah. And now, also on a side note, we're not done with Sandra this year. She will be in Digger by Alejandro Gianniarito.
Oh,
and
opposite
the
like Tom Cruise, right?
Tom
Yeah.
Cruise, Riz Ahmed, Sophie Wilde, and Jesse Plemons, and John Goodman. So
Holy
October
shit.
2nd.
Interesting
I didn't know
cast.
Plemons was in either. Just wanted to say that.
And Goodman.
Yeah, that was one of my guys. But
I want to see Goodman in westerns.
I would watch John Goodman throw my mother down a flight of stairs. He's one of my guys. Goodman is one of my guys.
I hear you.
So now, do we want to cover? Let's talk about Gosling. So, where are you at on Gosling in terms of his?
That's what I was
star
kind of getting at.
power?
I love Gosling. I think he's a really,
Yeah.
really great guy. He's just not one of my favorite actors. I love to see him on screen. I love like his charisma and everything. I think it's very funny. I just like I'm trying to I'm thinking about the last two films I saw him in.
He's Fall Guy.
It's The Fall Guy and Barbie.
Yeah.
He's playing the same character in both of those films. Now, when the first 20 minutes of this film started, as I said, I felt like I was just seeing that character again. But oh, now he's in space. Look, Ken's in space, you know?
Right.
But after like about the 20-minute mark, once it really settles into the film and the more emotional beats happen, I really felt like he's actually tapping into this like really sad like loner that
Yeah.
This is a man who is truly alone, still acts but still acts so loving and like fizzy and poppy, and like that was what really saddened me. Like seeing how he interacted with his children. I think that's why the final shot of the film is so effective. Seeing how he interacted with those children, how happy he was, knowing how heartbroken and lonely he actually was.
With Rocky's people,
Well, no, more so
like the
talking about
end.
like the situation with his ex like partner and
Okay.
everything that
I thought you were
happened.
talking about the last shot of the movie. Sorry.
Well, no, when he was actually talking to like the kids in the class at the beginning of the film,
Gotcha.
when he was
Okay.
actually
Okay.
teaching before he got brought up to space, you could see how happy he is and how like that is his place in the world. That's where I feel like that's where he realizes he belongs.
Yeah.
And as we go through the film and we learn about like the trials and tribulations of his life and what happened with his, like, I forget if it was a wife or a girlfriend or anything like that, it made me realize how lonely of a character this is. And I felt like Gosling was showing off the loneliness in very subtle ways that I haven't really seen from him before. So I actually really appreciate this performance. I actually think it's one of his best performances, if not his best. And the ending really moved me too.
And with him being like such a, sometimes it's hard, I think, for certain people when you're looking at somebody who's so beautiful
Yeah.
and like perfect and pristine looking, for them to then get into, it's one thing, when like an actor as the age does it, but when you're at his age doing it and then you're able to bring something like that out of you, you know what I mean, where you can pull off that, like, I can believe that that is like this lonely guy who's a bit disheveled, despite I know that's Ryan Gosling. Like, I didn't get taken out of the movie,
Hmm.
like watching him.
I was taken
And
out at first, I think, just because of like just the cultural whiplash of Gosling right now, just of what
right,
he's been
okay.
in. It wasn't any fault of the movie. I think I just had to settle into what he was doing.
And on a side note, it's really interesting because he's got like a trend going on here, because this was like obviously a space action comedy, I guess you can call it. But next year, he's going to be in Star Wars Starfighter by Sean Levy, like another, space action comedy. And I can't find it as I'm looking up. He just signed off, I swear to God, I heard this the other day, to do another like space action. Like, I don't know if this is like becoming
He
like
doesn't want to leave
oh, wait a minute.
space.
Well, there is something popping up here that he has made an exit from a new sci-fi movie. So that may not be true.
Hmm.
Ryan Gosling and Daniels were about to set. Okay, never mind. There was a movie. He exited from the untitled Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinhardt film. Okay, looks like whatever that is off. So,
I want to
um,
ask you because I feel like every time I watch a space movie, even though this one really more so plays into friendship and unlikely friendships, there's still a romance aspect to this film in terms of like his broken relationship. And I wanted to ask you, like, what do you think it is that makes space like so romantic?
oof. I do have an answer. I'm trying to like contextualize it a little bit. What makes it romantic is, I think, so obviously it's literally a space that we have no idea how large it is. You know what I mean? It's just this truly unexplored. As of this recording last night, we just had a crew get back from, if you saw it on Netflix, from the moon.
Yeah, the
They were
Artemis too.
further, yeah. So the thing is, like, and I'm going to make a comparison to Earth, where when you find somebody, like, the world, like you get that feeling where you're like, wow, this is this enormous planet, and somehow I found this truly special person. Like, what would have happened if I didn't meet them? And like, yeah, there's other people, but you kind of feel so fortunate. You're like, what would I have done if I didn't meet this person? What were the odds out of billions of people I met this person? Now, with that being said, up in space, and maybe I just sound stupid when I'm saying this, but I kind of feel like I'm trying to make sense of my thoughts here. Up in space, it's this even bigger area, but there's not a lot of people up there that's going. And if you're talking about a romance between like a couple characters in a movie up there, I feel like the idea that in this huge unexplored space, it's just you and this other person at the same time stuck in this claustrophobic little area. It doesn't like there's something romantic about that. It's not just because like, well, that's my only option, so this is the person I'm going to get to know, or this is the person I'm going to fall in love with because who else is there? It's like you just kind of have to find some sort of chemistry regardless of the love that it leads to, because it's like if you want some sort of human connection and whatnot, if you want somebody who's gonna you're gonna feel empathetic towards and vice versa, you don't have any other choice but this person. It doesn't mean they're necessarily going to fall in love, but the fact that it's this, it's Clooney and Bullock, or it's Rylan and Rocky, you know what I mean? Like the idea that it's like it's just us up here, and if we're gonna, or even in Clover, well, that's a weird example, Cloverfield Paradox, but like it's just us up here. We kind of have to get to know each other and connect, but that doesn't mean it's just going to happen.
Mm.
So I feel like it's this beautiful, like kind of blossoming relationship that, again, it kind of has to be there, but at the same time, like it still has to be as organic as meeting somebody down here in this gigantic space of ours.
Mm.
Like I'm trying to make sense of my thoughts here, but that's what I like about it is you're stuck in this gigantic space, but yet it's you and this person,
You're
and you're
right.
gonna have to
It's
build.
really an infinite space.
Right. And you're gonna have to build something with them. Doesn't mean it's gonna be love, because you could be at each other's throat because you're so claustrophobic. So it still ultimately has to be as organic as you meeting somebody down here, even though you have millions of people to fall in love
It's
with.
more just like forced, yeah.
Yeah, it's more forced, but it still has to be just as organic if you're going to fall in love with them up there than you would if you were down here.
Mm.
And there's something that's at least what I pull from the romance and the love in space and
Yeah,
what I find unique about it.
no, because I
And
saw
any of
I
that makes sense.
no, it did, and I think
Okay.
well, I actually want to talk about. I'm glad that you brought up the Artemis 2 crew because I've been following them a lot because they actually just genuinely seem like a really amazing group of people.
I don't know anything about them, so.
No, it was really emotional. It almost made me cry actually. It's really sad. Ugh. They the crew. So I think there's four of them. One of the one of them had lost their wife due to cancer,
Oh, right. Okay.
and
Yeah.
the rest of the crew surprised them by naming like the one bright spot on the moon like after his wife. And I was like, oh my God. And they all hugged each other. And I think that is something that you're getting to there. It's like they are all, it's not that it's forced connection, but it kind of is. But I don't know what it is, but there's just something so romantic about space. And I don't know,
Yeah.
my head can't like get to the answer, but it's clear that it's not even just in films. This is happening in real life. There's something about the space of space that is romantic, and I don't know exactly what it is. Maybe it's this limitless feeling, this infinite feeling. I don't know, but
Maybe it's realizing, like, also too, how when you're down here, you have endless resources. When you're up there, even though you're in the most highest tech of
you just have each other.
techie, you just ultimately have the bare bones up there, and you just have each other. I mean, if I can use an example from a silly IP movie, I think Guardians of the Galaxy takes that really well.
Mm.
Even though there's a gigantic universe up in space, a lot of it does take place in confined spaces where those characters are getting to know each other on a ship, and they're building this oddball connection. Again, those are five characters, to use the other example I was saying, who don't get along. And when they're taken out of society and they're confined in the ship, that's where they kind of have to start to get along. But at the same time, it becomes organic. And by the third movie, they're a family that is hooked together, that us as an audience are hooked on. So I don't know. For me, it's like it's that you kind of, that's your only option for human connection, but it still has to be just as organic as connecting with somebody down here. So, I mean, because we've seen movies where they explore that going the other way, where there's friction and there's people who are, not getting along with each other. And like in the Alien, It's like there's people that are on board with each other, and then there's others that are, at each other's throat. There's still
Mm-hmm.
human nature. Those two guys in Alien who are like, we want to raise, like the same bullshit that's still going on down here. But now you're like trapped with these people. Like we've seen also the effects of what happens, I guess, in movies, that is, when that doesn't work for people. So yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's the organic nature of still having to build that human connection, even though it's just you and this other person or people. That's a good question, though.
Yeah, I think ultimately this film, maybe it wasn't like fully for me, but there was still a lot for me to connect with here. I really connected, obviously of Gosling and Rocky's chemistry. I really connected to Sandra Hüller's character and especially her one like iconic scene. And I just think Lord and Miller are geniuses when it comes to family films. I cannot wait to see what they do next. I hope they just keep making family films. Clearly, they're bread and butter. And
Well, they're working on the next Spider-Verse movie.
yeah, no, obviously, can't wait for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they more so play like producing roles in that, but I mean, still a huge like creative output there. But I don't know. I wasn't as high. Honestly, I'm higher on this movie now after having talked about it with you than I was going into this.
Oh, sorry. They have one more movie coming out this year.
Hmm.
Or no, I'm sorry. They executive produced The Sheep Detectives,
Oh, okay. I have no idea what that is.
which looks like a really still. Oh, you haven't heard of that? A
Mhm.
flock of sheep set off to solve the mystery of who murdered their beloved shepherd. And
No.
it's with Hugh Jackman, Emma Thompson, Nicholas Braun, Nicholas Galzantine, amongst the cast of others. A lot of voices like Bryan Cranston, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and Patrick Stewart and Regina Hall.
Jesus.
So I've seen clips from it. It looks like a silly fun time. And they do have the Spider-Verse movie if it ever comes out. And then it looks like they also are working on. I know this was a popular show back in the day, um, Murder She Wrote,
Mm.
and they're also helping. They also are developers and executive producers on Spider-Man Noir. So yeah, these guys are busy. That comes out this year. Good for Lord and Miller.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love their work, and I can't wait for what's next. I'm always cautiously optimistic to see what Gosling's going to do next. I'm not really interested in the Starfighter movie at all, but
I am. You're not curious to see what he can do with. That's an interesting cast
I mean,
or
it's an
choice,
interesting
casting
cast,
choice.
but I don't have a lot of interest in Star Wars anymore.
Yeah, I'm
I love the
assuming
world
so.
of Star Wars, but I don't know. I kind of feel like Baby Yoda is what ruined Star Wars.
You did text me recently though. You did think that you're like, hey, that Mandalorian trailer maybe not too bad.
Yeah, every piece of the trailer that doesn't have Baby Yoda in it. Like here's my pitch. Mandalorian movie, dark space western. He takes out the last remaining members of the Jabba the Hutt crime family.
Okay, I like that.
That's my pitch.
Oh, I totally forgot. The other two people in Starfighter, Amy Adams and Mia Goth. I think Goth is rumored to be playing the villain.
Okay, yeah, cool for like a new female villain in Star Wars. That's at least
We
something
also
interesting.
have we also have Aaron Pierre is in this film.
Is that the dude who's playing Green
Um,
Lantern?
yep, and
Okay.
Matt Smith. So we this is a pretty good cast.
Yeah, I mean, not saying that. I just obviously when it comes to Sean Levy, I'm very cautious. I
Yeah,
think he's a great producer. When it comes to directing, I think he has a great work ethic. I'm just not always a fan of the product, the final product. I don't know.
gotcha. So where do we fall on the
Riff rating with
real
this.
riff, the riff rating
Yeah.
for Project Hail Mary?
I I'll give it a 7.
Okay, I'm gonna give it an 8. Not just for the sake of discourse, but because I feel like 7, even though 7 and 8 are right there, sometimes numbers feel so far apart when talking about
Yeah.
a certain
No,
movie.
I know, and I think it is objectively an 8. This is for personal opinion. It's 7 because it's just not really my thing.
Gotcha.
Like it would be more a 6 or 7 for me.
Okay. And before we get off, can we get your thoughts on Lee Cronin's The Mummy, which as of today is 6 days away from coming out?
I don't care.
Okay. I feel like
Uh,
this is going to become a bit where I'm just going to ask you about an IP type movie that I know you're not
I
excited for.
think I think it looked interesting, but why would you show me the whole trailer? Like why? Like
Is it
I now
because
know the entire movie. I know who's gonna die. I know exactly what's gonna happen. I know exactly what's gonna happen at the end. Literally could tell you that whole movie now. And
is it
even my friend
because
who
go ahead.
I saw the my friend that I saw to see the drama, she turns over to me after the Mummy trailer and she's like, "They just showed us the whole like movie." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Like, thank you."
While we're talking about, so we'll just, I think we could wrap up with a few minutes of movie news
Yeah.
and certain reactions.
Oh, in terms of the Mummy
Um,
though, James Wan being connected is
yeah,
is something of note.
there are some notes coming out of some early screenings that are saying this movie is disgusting and very grotesque.
It listen, it looked disgusting.
Yeah,
I saw too much. Like the fact that I saw the little girl like mummified, it doesn't like no, that needs to be in the movie
I
only.
agree. I wonder though if this is partially though what some, we've had this talk before, and I agree. Give me a long legs trailer, a movie that doesn't tell me what the movie's about.
Like, give me some
Do
creative,
that.
interesting marketing. Don't give your whole movie away because you know it's gonna sell.
But then there's also the other side of it where, again, I go back to this a lot. Companion had a huge spike in its projections last year after they put the twist in the second trailer. Like, so it's interesting in a time where it's tough to get people sometimes to go to the movies if you're not Doomsday or Dune or a big event film like Project Hail Mary. I'm not saying they need to, because again, long legs proved you can get it. But at the same time, like, it's a business. So while I don't like now, I'm actually I don't really watch trailers as much anymore. That's my personal choice. But I'm going to go to the movies. I'm going to see two movies tonight that I barely watch trailers for. But I'm a movie fan. I'm a horror fan, so I'm interested in going to see them. But part of me, from the movie aspect, which is why I think we're good for each other, is because you look a lot at the creative side. I try to play devil's advocate for the business side sometimes, where it's like, yeah, but if you told somebody, yeah, but we can maybe probably spike up the projections by $10 million if we give a little more away. Unfortunately, maybe it's also some of the times we live in where you got to like desperate times where you're like, okay, how are we going to get people in? Maybe we got to give a little more away. I'm not saying they
Yeah.
have to because trailers have said you don't need to do that, but I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Let me ask you this. I'm gonna force you not to play devil's advocate for a second. I think this is kind of a tough question
Okay.
because it actually does. The financial side is kind of playing into the creative side here. Would you rather a film have a trailer that is as interesting as Long Legs, but won't make as much money, thus is kind of hurting the film and thus the industry partially, or would you, but you know, has that creative resonance and you get to experience all the twists and turns in the cinema, or would you rather have a film like obviously like The Mummy here, or like any Blumhouse film where they make a shit ton of, they're probably going to make a shit ton of money because of what they show in the trailer, but you don't get the full true cinema experience of the film. But you
What
know,
if the
the
movie,
filmmaking money is helping the industry technically.
just to get in one question, not to be tough here, what if the movie makes enough money? Like, for example, like Undertone was made for barely any money and it turned a big profit. Now, ultimately, that movie is not a hair on the ass of a Kevin Feige, but the movie itself,
Made
compared
a
to its
profit.
budget, made
I
a
mean
big
more so in the
profit.
sense of the hypothetical here that the trailer being like that is actually going to hurt the film.
The,
The
right.
the
Like,
trailer being a bit too ominous or mysterious with its plot.
but the movie's still going to be really solid.
Hmm.
Um, from a subjective, from a personal
Like
standpoint,
think about Long Legs here.
yeah. Well, from a personal standpoint, then I can't help but then again, this is why I say I really don't know. back to what I was saying, because from a personal standpoint, this is where I'm going to sound like a hypocrite. I'd rather take the trailer that doesn't give me much. And me personally, and this is where maybe I'm being selfish, I have that experience with the film where I'm like, holy shit, they barely gave anything. I know the movie didn't make much money, but wow, like, even though this maybe isn't, as you said, what's best for the business, I think that personal like connection to the film will mean more to me than like, well, it wasn't great, but it's good for business. I'm gonna still lean towards my like connection and my experience with the movie.
Got it. This is interesting.
Because I'm also at the same time, I'm not gonna come out of a big budget movie and say, wow, I fucking hated that movie, but good thing it made $750 million, because that's I'm still gonna fucking hate that movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like granted, I could look at it and be like, good for the movies, but then I don't
Yeah,
know,
I guess I
can't
was
some
thinking about the
yeah,
industry at large here.
but then can't somebody argue, yeah, but if that movie makes another 750, they're just going to fund another one of those movies, like an MCU movie,
Hmm.
as opposed to, like, I love that A24 is pumping them out. Like, it's crazy. Tonight, I'm seeing Phase of Death. That's A24. The drama, A24. Like, Kim and I put something on the other day. She's like, A24. She's like, they're everywhere. Like, so as long as, I don't know, ideally, it's like a movie like Undertone. That's a great example. Or Terrifier. Like, it's made for a very little amount of money. The money it made is nothing compared to other movies. But for that movie, it made a huge impact, or for the genre it did. Because again, yeah, then again, like, all right, to go back at you, so, or to throw you a question. I know how you feel now. No, don't get me wrong, I'm not bad mouthing Marvel films because I love like 80% of them, and I know how you feel about them. You're like 20% of them. But do you almost would you want to see Doomsday plummet so we
Mm-mm.
stop getting Doomsdays?
No,
Or okay.
I have no reason to want that movie to fail. I just have no interest in it.
Okay, so that still goes back to your personal
Yeah,
like
I just have
experience
no
with the
personal
films.
interest in it because I know it. I know that I will eat my words if I'm wrong, but I know that it's most likely not going to do much for me.
Gotcha. Okay. I
And
just didn't know if like
but
some
I'm
people are
happy
like
for you. I'm
leaning
happy
towards it.
for these fans. I'm happy for people who are excited for the new Spider-Man movie and stuff like that. I'm
Right.
happy for that. You know, it's just I have my own taste. Like I'm more so excited for Dune. I'm more so excited for indie film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
just where I'm at. But I have no reason to want to see that movie fail and the crew that worked on it, you know, suffer.
That's true.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's true.
I have no reason to want that movie to fail.
Because again, like when that movie makes its billion, which I'm sure it will, or it's going to at least make 800 million, it's going to just spawn the next set.
That is the unfortunate byproduct of it, but I also like I don't want to see it fail. I don't want to see people
Right.
fail. You know, I have no reason to want
But
that.
hey, then again, maybe again, this could just be this conversation could be never ending, because the more successful a Doomsday movie or a Batman is, then we can get something really cool in a movie like Clayface, where it's like, well, now we can take the chance on making a $50 million movie. Mike Flanagan is going to write it, where we don't have one fucking notable castmate in it, and it's going to be a R-rated body horror movie, which we were not going to get 10 or 12 years ago. But because of the success of superhero movies,
Hmm.
now there's this leniency to be like, all right, we could fuck with a rated R movie like Joker or like Deadpool. Or now we could try a rated R like a low budget 50 million. So maybe there's even wiggle room within like the IP genres to try some different shit the more successful they are.
Yeah, no, I do agree though that there's a loop there that could just keep going on forever and
I
ever.
know it just doesn't
But
stop. Yeah.
but it is an interesting concept to think about, like trailers and hiding things and how that plays into the market value of the film and or the creative value of the film and things like that. But I know you saw. I know we'll be wrapping up soon, but I know you saw some. You saw some films and other stuff that maybe you'd want to give like quick reviews for. If you want to do like a quick review,
Yeah. So we'll get into the drama
we'll do
some
an
other
episode on
time
the
because
drama. Yeah, because I saw that.
of course we ran long. So as I'm going through some ticket stubs here. So ready or not to, I'm going to say that that was a as good a sequel as you can get for a way to continue the story.
I was to say, like,
Ready?
could you speak a little, no spoilers, but about how they continue that as a sequel?
It's in the trailer.
Oh,
So
okay.
to go
Never
back,
mind. Never mind. I just didn't watch the trailer for the film.
okay, so to go back to it,
But what is it? You could just tell me.
it takes place moments after the first one, and there's other people who are involved with the family who found out that she got away, and they kidnap her, and essentially she becomes part of the next game. But this one has to do with who is the heir to the family fortune, and like they have to kill her, and whoever kills her essentially gets the family fortune, something like
Okay.
that. Now look, for being able to do it again, I think they found a clever way, like to be able to tell another Ready or Not
Is it just
story.
the same thing with more action?
It's the same thing, and the reason why number one, and this is a good sequel in my opinion. I had fun. Number one is just still better because we didn't see that. So at the end, where we're like, they're oh shit, they're actually exploding. Like that's no longer like the element of surprise is gone. Um, Undertone, I really liked. Did you see Undertone? No. Undertone was very much, they said it would be the scariest movie you'll ever hear because it was about a podcaster who screws around with connecting to like the undead on her show. And that brings it essentially like that's this presence. It's like a Ouija board. Like, don't fucking bring the Ouija board in here.
Does the
It's like
film
she
take
pushed.
place on a computer or something like that?
No, it takes place with like her and kind of like what we do. Her and her friend are podcasting, looking through cases
But
of like
is the
these.
film like one of those virtual movies where it's like a podcast setup, or is it filmed like an actual movie?
No, it's an actual movie.
Okay.
Undertone made a lot of money, and apparently they're already planning a trilogy. So they're planning two more. So it's because it's been that successful. I just read this earlier, and the director of Undertone is also doing the reboot for Paranormal Activity. And if he can bring the
More
creepiness that
sequels
he
and
brought,
reboots. Keep giving
more
us.
sequels and reboots. We've spoken on The Bride. We've spoken on Send. We Psycho Killer and Send Help. Send Help. You saw Send Help, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Send Help is still one of my favorites of this year. Um,
What's
you
that
know what?
dude's name in that film? He was awesome.
Dylan O'Brien.
Bro, he is awesome. I want more of him.
Dylan O'Brien was excellent in
He's in
that
this
movie.
film called Twinless that I gotta see. Or maybe that's a show.
Yes.
I don't know.
No, I've heard a good amount of Twinless. That's a movie.
That is a movie, okay.
Yeah, that is a movie. Um, but yeah, so Ready or Not, what did I see the day before? I can't find the movie stub. I saw two movies that weekend. Now I'm completely drawing a blank. I'd have to go on my AMC and
Do
see
you wanna
what I
talk
saw.
about the play that you saw?
Yeah, Dog Day Afternoon. So Eben Moss Bacharach and John Bernthal. And did you ever see Dog Day Afternoon?
So I haven't seen the full film, but I've seen a lot of clips, and I know it's like a relatively isn't it like a gay story?
Yeah, so I remember, I think same thing for me. I think I saw it when I was a kid, and I don't know if I saw the whole thing, but we wanted to hold off like on watching it until like him and I until we saw the play, just in case like, ruined anything. Yeah, it's about a guy who holds up a bank because he's trying for his partner to get them enough money so they can do a sex change operation. Which like what a movie for the times. Like that they, you know what I mean? Like this came out in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
um, Bernthal was incredible. Eben Moss doesn't have a lot to do in the play. He's being promoted as like the supporting guy, but he doesn't do much. He's more in like a physical role where he's also under the influence of drugs the whole time. So he's constantly just like staring at the wall. You could tell he's in his thoughts the whole time. Like you're watching him, and like a lot of people were like, "Man, I thought he would do more in the play," but it's more so his performance is in what he's not doing, if that
Okay,
makes
that's
sense.
interesting.
You're watching him spew with the shotgun while everybody's talking. He probably has the fewest lines in the whole play, but when he talks, you're like dialed in. And
Uh,
Bernthal is all over this
yeah,
place.
I figured.
Sorry,
Were
sorry.
you?
Go
Did
ahead.
you talk to anybody at the theater after it ended? Because I heard you say, or did you look at like reviews?
I looked. The reviews are not great,
Oh
apparently,
wow.
right now. I I honestly loved it.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
that's great.
I thought it was interactive for the scenes where Bernthal comes out of the bank, and it's just a rotating set. So one part of the set is the outside of the bank, and then they rotate it, and it's the inside of the bank, and that's it. And the scenes where Bernthal comes out and he's yelling at the cops came into the crowd. So like we were kind of part of the play because in the movie the public starts to gather around Sonny and cheer him on. So the cops came in, the actors came into the audience, and like the main detective was like, "All right, Sonny, come on. There's a lot of people here for you. You just got to come out." So like when Bernthal came out, and he's like, "Fuck the power, fuck you," like, and he was getting everybody to scream with him. Like they brought like the audience like into the play.
That's
Like
awesome.
there's a part where he screams like Attica, and like he made us like yell it back, like, and
Wow.
it was really cool. Like, again, the actors were like right there. The guy who played the detective, an actor I've definitely seen before. He got like a little ovation when he came out. Like he was like right there next to us, like on the balcony, like talking, yelling to him. So we were kind of playing, I guess you could say, like the crowd, you know. I've been telling people go see this play. I was like, it was so much fun. I'm not a big fan of musicals, so there's no music in this. Like, there's no singing. There's just like, that's it. I think there's one small, actually. Other than that, like you see John Bernthal's acting on it's a display. Like he is so good in this.
No, he's a powerhouse. So I figured. I
So
wish I could see it.
yeah, I definitely recommend. I wouldn't be shocked if this, like, if it's successful financially enough, make a movie with Eben Moss. Just remake it. It's been
Yeah.
what, 40 years? Why not? But yeah, so that's where we're at. And tonight is Faces of Death and The Hunting of Matthew Nichols.
Awesome. I can't wait to hear what you think about it.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So a couple like lower budget horror movies, one by A24. So, and one other thing I could recommend I thought was pretty good was His and Hers on Netflix.
Is that also
With
Bernthal?
John Bernthal. Yep, and Anna Andrews. And
Okay.
it was good. It was good, based on a series of books, or I think a series of books. Um, but it was pretty good. Twisty, like a twisty turny romance thriller police story. There's motorcycles going
I can't hear
outside
him.
my apartment. No, just the idea that you and me, when we podcast,
Oh
we
yeah,
hear
yeah, yeah.
like, and there's always a motorcycle. Yeah. So, anyways, but yeah. So coming up next, we will be talking about the drama, as well as some of our favorite not so traditional rom-com movies,
hmm
since the drama is a not so traditional.
A not so traditional movie in general,
Yeah,
and
it is a
a very simple
dark.
movie for how heavy the topic is.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to getting into that with you. But yeah, that's all I got.
That'll be all. Yeah.
And so that's it. So thank you for everybody for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, word of mouth, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, all of that. And follow us on TikTok, Instagram. It's all there. Real Riff
Fuck
Podcast. My name
F1.
is Love F1. So my name is Bill Markey.
My name's Tommy Angelo. Be well. Be good.
Hi, everybody.